friends, 2 time zones, and a shared love of stories.
I'm Freya.
And I'm Jamie.
Bridging time zones 1 chapter at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Time Zone. Hello everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Time Zone. Today's going to be a fun episode. We are actually going to be talking about some popular books that you have probably seen floating around Booktok, Goodreads, Fable, whatever book platform you use. And yeah, we're just going to be offering our thoughts of what we thought about those books, or if we haven't read them, if we plan on ever reading them. So we've compiled this list just from like internet research basically, and we've also tried to put books on this list that like we haven't really talked about too often in the past. So hopefully a lot of this will be newer information for you in terms of like our opinions. So yeah, that's gonna be our episode today. I feel like it's gonna be a good one to start off the year as well as our second episode of season 2. Just so you can also, if you guys are new, you can help get a little taste of books that we like and don't like, I guess. But first of all, current reads, of course. So Freya, what are you currently reading?
Okay, I'm still reading Crescent City 3. But, you know, like, it's fine. I've actually been reading books in between it. I'm also reading The Perfect Son. I'm back on my Freida McFadden grind. I can't help it. I realized that there was a bunch of books I haven't read by her, and now I'm like, that's a little bit tempting. So I've been reading The Perfect Son. I literally started it last night and I'm like 85% through because it's just so addictive. I don't know what it is about her writing, but like if it catches me in the right mood, there is nothing that is going to be like coming between me and a Freida McFadden book. I'm locked in. So I definitely needed that because now I'm about 400 pages into Crescent City. I literally sat down yesterday and read as much as possible. And I feel like it's a really confusing book to me because I'm sometimes really, really into it and I'm loving the story and so much is going on and I'm trying to keep track of everything and loving how fast paced it is. And then within like 10 pages, you're back at this really slow pace and everything's just kind of like slowly trickling along. And I can't get my head around it. It's sometimes I'm having the best time, sometimes I'm forcing myself to read through it. So yeah, it's an interesting experience for this one. I'm not hating it as much as I thought I was going to though. Like I'm liking it. I did have to do a bit of wiki fandom research into all the characters that I forgot about, but after that I'm okay.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing with Crescent City is I did enjoy a lot of it, or at least House of Flame and Shadow. I did enjoy most of it, but I think it was a lot of like some POVs were just so much worse than some other POVs. So I did feel that too. It's like some parts I was like, oh yeah, this is so much fun. I'm into this. I like it. And then you'd switch to a certain character and then it would be like, I don't want you at all. Why are you here?
Literally. And I think after reading the Stormlight Archive, where that's multiple POV as well, and it's very much separated into chapters and you have a long time spent with each character in their POV. In Crescent City, it feels so weird because within a chapter, you're switching like 3 different POVs and the chapters aren't even very long. They're like, I reckon about maybe like 10 pages long. Like they're not super long chapters. So in a way, sometimes I'm like, we're back and we're forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I can't, it's just a very different pacing to what I have been reading recently. So yeah, I think it's just like getting used to a different kind of writing as well and getting my head around that. But you know, I was reminded of how much fun it is to just get immersed in a fun fantasy world that you really don't have to like pay too much attention to, but there's still enough going on to keep you really, really interested. But yeah, you're not like analyzing every single little line like you do in, you know, any Brandon Sanderson book. So
yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can either read it very casually and still have a fun time, or you can get really deep into it because like there are a lot of people out there that get deep into all of Sarah J. Maas books and the worlds and like connects like individual lines or like word choices even to other things to make these like insane theories. So yeah, it's funny that you can
Yeah.
just like, you can read it casually, but you can also like really dive deep into it and analyze every single sentence.
I think it is quite cool that that's the fact as well, because like for someone like me who spent such a long time in between each series, reading her series, and even just in between the books, because obviously different like release dates, I feel like it's quite interesting diving into it. And as I said, it took me a bit to get my head around the characters, but once I'd like reminded myself, because we've got so many characters in Crescent City, we have so many. And so I was like reminding myself of them all. And once I'd got my head around who's related to who and how this person knows this person and everything like that, then I was good to go. And you're right, I don't have to like pay too much attention. But there are little points now and then where I'm like, oh, that connects to this, like from ages ago. Like I'm seeing a little connection there. But if I'm not paying attention, I do miss it. So
Well, that sounds like a fun experience. So
it's
I'm
probably
glad you're
needed at the
liking
moment.
it, like better than the
Yeah, I'm
second
not.
book.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the second one so far. So that's a
Great.
plus. But what are you currently reading?
So I was kind of reading slowly, like you were. I just finished A Day of Fallen Night today, and I'm hopping into Iron Gold next by Pierce Brown, of course. So
So
I'm
exciting.
I'm s- I'm literally so excited. All I've read is the dedication and like half of the first page, but like, oh my goodness, I am back. The dedication of this book was for the Howlers. That's all it was. And like, if you know, you know. Like you, if you have the love for the
I don't know.
Howlers, you you will know soon. You
I
will
will
know
know.
this year. 2026, you are going to become acquainted with the Howlers and you're going to love them. But yeah, the dedication for this, like I opened it, saw the dedication for the Howlers, and I was just like immediately, I was like, we're back. Like we're so back. Yeah, I'm excited. I have heard like this book, Iron Gold, is not the strongest in the series, but like it's also not bad from what I've heard. And it's
Okay.
a step into this phase two. It like sets up for the future books. So I don't know what to expect. I'm kind of like confused as to like what I want to expect. So I'm trying to go in just like with no expectations, which is so hard, especially for a series that like you love so much. It's like it's so hard to go in with like zero expectations.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I am very curious to hear because I have seen different opinions about this one. I feel like it's so funny that I know so much about the individual books in this series and I haven't read, like, I've only read the first book. It's just such a big thing at the moment. But yeah, I have seen
Yeah.
a lot of like mixed opinions. Like, one of my friends absolutely loved this book, like, it's one of her favorites. And well, that was
Ooh.
before the last one came out.
Okay.
But then I've seen other people be like, it was a bit of a push to get through. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what you think.
Yeah, I definitely hear all sides. I will say I'm excited because the first arc is written just in Darrow's point of view, and from this point onwards, we get multi POV. And Darrow was never my favorite character. Like, this world has
Yeah.
always been about the secondary characters for me, so I feel like I'm excited to get some other people. And so maybe
Yeah.
because of that, I will be like the part of like the group of people who enjoy Iron Gold. So I don't know. I'll update you when I'm farther into it, farther into the book, like more past the dedication. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
All right. I think this is one of the first episodes in a while where we haven't had any crazy bookish news. I can't think of
Mm,
anything.
I can't think of anything either. I mean, recently I saw Taylor Swift was listening to the God of the Woods audiobook.
By the
I saw
way,
that.
so much respect for the bookish community because I watched her documentary and like I kid you not, I think it was about 3 lines that was read from this book. And I've read that book and I
Wow.
had no idea what it was. And then I went on to TikTok and I was seeing all of these people and I was like, the fact that you could get that from a character name and like 3 other words is insane to me.
Everyone's dedicated out there. Everyone has their skills.
Especially like the bookish Swiftie community, that little niche, that's a crazy niche.
That's a strong community.
Like, I would love to say I'm a part of it, but I don't know if I'm up to that level, to be honest. That's a
I'm
very
not.
impressive level.
Here's the thing. I'm not even really a Swiftie.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like listening to her songs while I was reading, and I was like, does Jamie listen to her songs? I don't, the
Not
topic has never come up between us or on this
Yeah, I
podcast.
know. I feel like I haven't really talked about it on the internet. Like I've just kind of like avoided, like not on purpose, but it
Avoided the
just has
topic.
it's just never come up. Like I don't have a problem with Taylor Swift, but like I just don't listen to her music really. Like
Yeah.
I know her songs because they're always like everywhere. Like I see them, they're in videos, they're like on the street, like you can't avoid them. And like it's not like I don't like them. A lot of her songs are very catchy and they stay in my head for a long time, but like I can't say I'm a Swiftie because like I don't know all of her songs. I don't know a lot of her lore. Like I didn't try to go to the Eras tour. Like I'm just like I don't qualify to be a Swiftie. So yeah, I don't know. Fun fact about me, I've never said that on the internet
That's,
before.
I am so glad I can probably corrupt you. Like, because to me, you are such, I'm a big Swiftie. But that's just because I've been listening to her music since I was so young. But to me, you were so Folklore Evermore album. It's like the most lyrical, beautiful songs. And to me, that's like you. Like, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I will say from like the songs that I do know and have heard, that is my favorite era from her. So you were
Yeah.
so right about that. But like, yeah, I just like that's like I know some of her songs, but like I just don't know enough. I think like I'm just not a Swiftie. You know, like I'm not
I guess I'll
qualified.
take on the task. I guess I'll take on, if you insist. No, I'm kidding. Watch me after this episode send you like a linked playlist of like all the songs.
A listening guide. Here you go.
Oh dear, don't tempt me.
But yeah, we can get into the viral books that we are going to be talking about today. So the first one on our list is actually from our lovely Allie Hazelwood. This is actually her debut novel, but The Love Hypothesis, which like is so funny. I feel like we haven't really talked that much about
No.
this book specifically by her, but like it is, I feel like her most iconic book. It's her debut. It's what really set her like career moving
Yeah.
forward. So, what are your thoughts on The Love Hypothesis?
Sometimes I forget this book exists, to be honest. Like, I read this so long ago. And, like, I'm not gonna lie, we all know I'm a Harley Hazelwood fan, but a lot of her STEM romances, they do mesh into one in my mind. And
Yeah.
especially if you read them, like, close to each other, like this and Love Theoretically, I always get mixed up in my head. Love Theoretically is the orange
Is that
cover.
okay? I was
The way
gonna
I like
ask.
distinguish between them, yeah, is the colors.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hate it when I read it. I thought it was like a fun STEM romance, but I was never obsessed with our characters or their chemistry. I just feel like it was one of those little books that I read like as a little, it felt very chick flicky, you know? Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, great, I haven't read a STEM romance before. It was my first STEM romance. And to be fair, I've only read STEM romances from Allie Hazelwood. I haven't actually explored that genre much more past her. But I'm excited to see it come to screen, I will say. I feel like it could make a really, really cute
yeah.
chick flick.
So, I was trying to look through my Goodreads because a lot of the books we're talking about today are books that I read a little while ago. So I'm like, I feel like I need an actual refresher on like what I thought about some of these. And my like thinking back, I always thought that I thought The Love Hypothesis was like average, like 3-star, a fun time, but nothing special. And when I looked back on Goodreads, I rated it a 2-star, which for me, reading this like 3 years ago is a harsh rating for me. Like that would be a 1-star today. And so I was a little shocked at that rating because at that time I was giving every book a 5-star. So for me to like go on and log this as a 2-star was like, that must have, I don't know what possessed me back then. But my impression, I think it was just very overrated for me. I think maybe that's why I rated it
Yeah.
lower. I think like everyone was raving about this one. And at this point in my reading journey, I think I was reading a lot of like, for romances, this was like my Emily Henry, Christina Lauren. And honestly, Colleen Hoover era. I want to say like that 3 years ago era. And I'm not proud of the Colleen Hoover era, but I think like a lot of the romances I was reading were not like rom-com romances. They were more
Yeah.
like serious, sad, teary romances. And so I just like I didn't really get like the like rom-com like of the book. I didn't
Yeah.
want that. Like I wasn't craving that. So I just it didn't really hit for me. I also think I got a little bit of an ick from what's his name? Adam Carlson. Is that the guy?
Yeah, I think I can't remember his last name, but I think it was Adam.
Yeah, Adam Carlson, I think. I got the ick from him because he was like the type of character that really changes during a spice scene. Like his
Yeah.
character, because he was always very like, I don't know, like he was caring but kind of like kept to himself, I think, like from what I remember from 3 years ago. And then like during the spice scenes, like it unleashes like this beast and suddenly like all the dialogue is different, he talks differently, he acts so differently, and like it just scared me a little bit. So that is something that I've like grown to like know that I don't like, is when a character like just like flip-flops characters 180 like during a spice scene versus like them just being normal. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I thought I was okay with this book, but I gave it a 2 star 3 years ago. So
That's so funny. I remember reading it and being like, yeah, this is cute. I think I did give it a 3 stars from memory, but just being like, I don't really understand all the hype around it, because I think I was reading similar romances around then as well. I think I was definitely deep in my Christina Lauren era.
yeah.
And yeah, nothing too intense.
Okay, we can move on to our second viral book on our list. So the next one is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I really loved this one. I did. This was my first Madeline Miller. This was my first, I think, like not modern retelling, but like just like such a detailed retelling of Greek mythology. I think like in this style where it is still Greek
Yeah.
mythology but just retold in, I don't know, just like a modern storytelling way, but still set in ancient Greece.
Yeah. I actually love this one as well. I think you're right.
There was something about this that like broke my heart, made me sob, made me feel so deeply for the characters. And I will be the first to say, like, I feel like I know my general Greek mythology, but I don't know that much into the more specific stories. So I know a lot of people like who were maybe more familiar with like this side of Greek mythology read this and maybe weren't that impressed. But like for me, experiencing the story in this, even in this like retelling way, was insane. Like it hit me so hard.
To be honest, when I read this, I was deep in my Greek mythology era. So I do know a lot. Like
Ooh.
I went through that little rabbit hole when you start like just Googling everything and learning everything. But so I was part of me was like kind of really annoyed at like the differences and like the little inconsistencies. I remember being like, oh, I'm not gonna like this book. And halfway through I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it, and still like I don't understand the hype. Then by the end I just remember being like sobbing. I was just
Waterfall.
I was like, it got me. It got me. I was ready to be the hater. I was ready to be the controversial opinion. And it got me towards the end. I was like, honestly, I don't mind that this like deviates a bit from traditional stories, because it did it in a really beautiful way. Like the characters were they stick with you. And I read this, I want to say like 5 years ago, something like that. Like it was a long
Yeah.
time ago. And I still think about these characters to this day. So that I feel like just shows what an author she is. Like I think she's a great author, to be honest. I haven't read too much by her, but has she actually released anything in a while?
I don't know about recently, but like from her other releases, I've read Circe. Have you read that one?
Same. Yeah, that's the only other one I've read by her.
What did you think of that one?
I didn't like it as much as Song of Achilles, but I liked it. I think I gave it like a 4 star from memory. So I didn't love the main protagonist from memory. She kind of like, there were moments that irritated me. And yeah, I think just after reading Song of Achilles and feeling so much for our characters, because I did read it pretty quickly afterwards, because I was like, I love her writing. I need to read more by her. And yeah, I didn't love it as much, But yeah, what did you think of it?
Basically kind of like thought the same thing. Like I did love
Yeah.
it, but it was like more of a 4-star versus a 5-star for
Yeah.
me. I think like what was it? It was like the way some of the romance ended or something was like a little icky for me.
Yeah.
Like some of the
Yeah.
couplings that got together, I was like, ooh, that's kind of weird. And it was definitely a slower moving story, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like it like more about just like one character, obviously, rather than like this big picture war. So it was a very different paced story and a very different feeling story, but I think it was also very beautifully written.
Yeah.
I did enjoy both of them. Apart from that, I actually had someone comment on one of my videos today, I think, talking about a short story from Madeline Miller that they had read recently. And so I think
Oh.
she has released some other material, but maybe they're like novella length or
Yeah.
short stories. I don't know about like full-length novels, though. I haven't heard of anything else. Maybe she's working on something new. Who knows? We
Yeah.
don't.
But I will say, I have heard very different opinions on Song of Achilles. Like, I hear some people, like most people, I feel like usually end up loving it by the end. But I have heard some people say, like, it's a super, super boring read for them. So I guess it really
Wow.
does depend on, I guess, your mood and what kind of books you read. Because I can see that it would be a bit of a slower, like, whilst there is this kind of action element to the story, it doesn't feel like that's a main component to it in a way. Like,
Yeah. I guess it's like a lot of it feels like the third book in a fantasy, but you've skipped the first and second book. Maybe?
yeah, yeah, that's a good way of describing it actually. Because you're kind of at like this climax of like intense war basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually a good way of describing it. All right, the next one. This one is like such a throwback. It is the Shatter series. I feel like this just has always had this hold over Booktok. Like when I think of Booktok, it is one of the first series that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Have you read the Shatter or like the entire series, a few of the series? I have never asked you.
No, so I have never read a Tahereh Mafi book in general, but I have a lot of her books on my TBR. So, I first got this Woven Kingdom from her. That's like the first book in her
Yeah.
other like more popular series. I have that one, and then I actually also have the second and third books in those series already as well, just because they were on Book Outlet, and I
Yeah.
can't deny a Book Outlet sale. Like I just can't. I'm trying not to buy more books, but when I see there's a book for like $7 or less on Book Outlet, I'm
Yeah.
like I can't say no to it. So
Who
it's
am
always a
I?
risk. Like I know it's always a risk buying multiple books from a series, especially from an author that you've never read before. But like I feel like her as an author, and especially with the This Woven Kingdom series, like I've just heard so many good things, and like most people who know me and know my reading taste tell me that I will love that series and will love her writing. So like I'm putting my faith in the people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying I will love that series, so I have committed. I haven't read one yet. I definitely need to get into it this year, but yeah, I have 3 of those on my physical TBR. And then for the Shatter Me series, I have not read them either, obviously, but I did find one, the first one, in a little free library a couple months ago.
Okay.
So I picked it up. I have it. I don't know if I feel inclined to read it though. Like I feel like I don't feel the urge right now. So I was thinking of just like unhauling it and putting it back out there in the wild, back into the little free library. And then if it happens to come back my way, it comes back my
Yeah.
way. But like, I don't know, I feel weird hoarding a book that I got from a little free library and not actually reading it. So I think I want to release Shatter Me back into the wild for now because I want to start with this Woven
Yeah.
Kingdom. And then if I like her writing style, then I'll maybe go back to Shatter Me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. But you've actually read Shatter Me, so let me know what you think.
I've read the first 3. No, 4. Can't remember. I think I read the first 3 because I remember I got them from the library, so it's always a little bit hard when you don't like. And it was again younger,
Oh,
so I wasn't like tracking my reads properly. Um, I remember honestly being a bit disappointed because of the hype surrounding this one, especially the hype surrounding the third book. I remember being so excited to get to the third book because everyone was like, it's the best book ever. And I remember reading it and I was like, it was okay. To be honest, I love the characters in this series. I think there are some great characters, usually the side characters, that I like absolutely love. And I think they're really, really fun. But the series as a whole, I don't know. I didn't love it. I feel like dystopian as well is a real hit or miss for me. Like, I can really enjoy the world, or I can find it a little bit boring and, I don't know, just a little bit like disconnected from it when there's like magical powers, but it's also the end of the world, and like, I don't know. It was a bit of a miss for me. But in saying that, I have heard incredible things about This Woven Kingdom, and it's also been recommended to me so many times, even though I didn't hate the Shatter Me series by any means. It just was a kind of like 3-star series for me. Like, it was just fine.
Yeah.
And after reading the first 3 books, which is like the original trilogy, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue to the next. I think there's like another 3 books and then novellas on top of that. So I was
Wow.
like, I don't know if I want to continue, like, commit to all of that. But I have heard really good things about This Woven Kingdom. Is it a fantasy or is it a dystopian?
It's a fantasy. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's like a
Yeah.
fantasy romance series from what I've heard.
Okay. And I love the author. Like, she's so cool. I've seen so many
She is
interviews
so
of her and
cool.
stuff. She seems so lovely. So
Yeah.
I would love to get into her world a little bit more.
Yeah. I need to get into
Yeah.
her books. I don't know why I haven't yet. But the next one on our list is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I I have a love-hate relationship with Sally Rooney. I find I really dislike that she doesn't use quotation marks. I just can't get over it. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Like, use the quotation marks. Why would you not use them? It just makes things confusing when you don't use them.
Yeah.
I read Normal People a long time ago, So I don't like remember it too deeply because I also feel like it didn't affect me too deeply. So it's not like one that stuck with me for a while. But I do remember being very frustrated at the writing style. And I do remember being frustrated at the characters. And I do also remember feeling a little bit bored while reading it.
Yeah.
I know this book is so beloved, but it just didn't work for me at the time. I'd be curious to go back and read it, like
Yeah.
reread it, because I feel like I am a bit of a different reader now than I was back then. But back then, I just remember reading it and being like, why do these two characters even like each other? Like, to me, it felt like an art film or something where you just get two characters that look at each other and then they're in love. And then that, like, they're just bonded and like they haven't talked to each other yet, but they're just bonded and they love each other and feel this deep connection. And I didn't understand it at the time. But what I will say is I think the only other Sally Rooney book I've read is Intermezzo. And while that one was also frustrating for me to read because lack of quotation marks, I did end up really enjoying that book. Like, it was a 4-star
Okay.
for me and it really hit me deeply emotionally. So yeah, I'd be curious to like either visit more of her like backlog or reread Normal People.
I haven't read a Sally Rooney book for every reason you just listed. Because I've always been like I've never really been into contemporary fiction anyway, like as we've talked about in the past few episodes. Like, I'm just entering that era now. And so I was never drawn to her books for that reason. And then I heard that like there's no quotation marks, that they are quite irritating, like flawed character, like they're meant to be flawed and
Yep.
everything, but it
Yep.
can be really irritating. And I've seen some people, like, I have seen the love for her books, but I've also seen the absolute like just
Yeah.
frustration towards her books. So I've always been a little bit put off that. But I will say, is it Intermezzo? Is that the one you just said?
Yeah.
That is on my bookshelf because my
Oh.
partner reads her works. And so I've always kind of looked at it 'cause honestly, it's just a really cool cover and I'm really intrigued by it. But I've kind of just been thinking about it for a while and I'm like, I don't know, maybe one day I'll start her books. It's sitting there. I've been feeling very drawn towards like contemporary fiction at the moment. I don't know, maybe it's just the summer.
Love it.
Maybe it's just I want to feel more. I'm not really sure. But I've been very drawn to her. So I'm like, well, that one's on my shelf. So I could just pick up that one if I wanted.
Yeah, I would say go for it. It is a frustrating read. And like throughout most of the book, I was like, I hate this. I hate this so much. And then by the like just the third act, I was like so attached. And I don't know how it happened. It's one of those books that just catches you so
Yeah.
off guard. And you're like, how did I all of a sudden feel this deeply for these characters? I don't understand what just happened, but it was like a switch. And all of a sudden I was like, this means so much to me right now. It
Yeah.
didn't happen for
To be
normal people.
fair,
The switch didn't switch, but
yeah, okay. That's
yeah.
interesting. To be fair, I feel like that's a bit like Frederick Backman as well. I remember reading Beartown and being like, these are characters, like, to be honest, his writing is very, because they like switch perspectives all the time without, saying this is whose perspective we're talking about. And sometimes you don't get the name of who we're from, like what perspective we're from in, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a little
Yeah,
bit
I
confusing.
got you.
And so for that reason, I felt myself really detached from the characters for a long, long time in that book. It took me a bit. And then the thing happened, like that moment in the book. And I was like, oh my God, I am way more attached to these characters than I thought I was. So yeah, that's interesting.
Sometimes it's just like a little
Yeah.
stubborn thing in your head. Because I remember, like, with Beartown, it also took me a while to get into, but for me, it was like the hockey thing. I was like, I don't care this much about hockey. And so my mind was like rejecting it for the longest time. And then, yeah, it was like all of a sudden,
I
I'm like, oh,
I love the fact that you were Canadian and could not do hockey books for the life of you. I love that fact. I remember like Austin, my partner, was asking, because like there was some Canadian World Cup on, yeah, he was asking like who you go for. And I was like, I fear Jamie will not be watching.
I have no team.
Yeah.
I'm an island. I
Yeah.
have no team. Yeah, funny because the Winter Olympics is coming up too, and I'm so excited for the
I'm
Winter
so
Olympics,
excited.
but it's for the figure skating.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
I
I
will
was
I will
thinking of
not be
you.
watching a hockey game. Like it is for the figure skating. I'm so excited.
Oh, the Winter Olympics is like the best time of the 4 year, every 4 years. I love
Yeah.
it so much. There's so many incredible sports. I love watching the mogul skiing as well. Could never do it for the life of me, but
Oh, that
find it
looks hard.
fascinating. Actually,
Or
I've tried it once. Not good. Not good.
really? Yeah, I'm not a good skier. Also makes me kind of a bad
Yeah.
Canadian. But I also like watching the ski jumping because I call them just
Yeah.
like flying squirrels because they like look like literal flying squirrels. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you
I don't.
try that for the first time? Like,
The
what?
adrenaline would be insane. I think I'd pass out in the air.
How do you like trust yourself to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna launch myself? Like, how do you do a mini version of that? I guess is what I want to ask. Like, how do you simulate a mini version of that that is safe for you to
Yeah.
like try out for the first time and like not break all of your bones?
It is absolutely. Have you seen Eddie the Eagle, the movie about ski jumping?
No.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my God, it's
never
got
heard of it.
like some great actors in it, and it's about ski jumping, and he's like it's based on a true story, and he's like this really terrible ski jumper, and it's like how
Oh.
they have like this stimulation basically that you don't do it on the snow, you do it it's like this whole contraption basically that you do that's not on the snow, that's just like, and then you land into like an airbag or
Oh.
something to just get used to the like movement first. It's very fascinating to watch actually, and it's a very funny movie. Highly recommend.
Wow, I'll have to
Maybe it's
watch
like your
that to learn
research
the
before the
secrets.
Olympics.
Yeah, because I've always wondered how they just like go for it. But yeah, a
Yeah.
little like fake simulation version into an airbag. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
The
see that.
fact that this conversation just started from normal people is crazy. But anyway,
I guess we can move on.
yeah, complete different direction. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry.
Great.
Like completely opposite. I feel like we've talked about this a little bit in the past because of her movie that's coming out very, actually, it'll already be out when this episode is out,
Oh my
I believe.
goodness. Yeah, for like a few
Yeah.
days.
I have seen so many different opinions on this book, to be honest. Like, I have seen some massive Emily Henry fans absolutely hate it. To be honest, it was my least favorite book by her. But I do want to reread it before the movie comes out. I've got a few days, but anyway, we just ignore that fact. I do want to reread it before I watch the movie because I do like comparing books pretty similarly. But yeah, I remember it, again, read this years ago. A lot of these books we read a long time ago, but I remember being a little bit disappointed after reading like Beach Read and absolutely being obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it was the like time jumps. I'm not really sure. I just didn't feel as connected to our characters, and I wasn't rooting for our characters as much as I was in her other books. But I do feel like to do it actually, I don't know, I just feel like I need to reread this, to be honest. A lot of the plot has gone from my mind.
Yeah. I kind of like, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, this is my least favorite Emily Henry, but my Emily Henry experience, like, from when I was like binge reading all of her books at
Yeah.
the same time, like, kind of feels a little bit like a fever dream. Like, it's all just
Yeah.
meshed together in my head. And like, Happy Place stands out on its own, and Funny Story stands out on its own, and Great Big Beautiful Life stand out on its own.
Yeah.
Because like, those three were her newer books, I guess. But like, yeah, like, People Would Be on Vacation, Beach Read, and Book Lovers, they're just the same in my head.
The characters are really hard to like differentiate, honestly.
Yeah, especially Book Lovers and Beach Read. Like, that, those are hard to
Oh my God. I know.
differentiate.
Especially because we're following like two writers in both of them. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's confusing. I do want to do like a reread of her entire backlog. Because again, I'm the same. Like Happy Place, Funny
Yeah.
Story, Great Big Beautiful Life. They all feel very different. To be fair, they are quite different books in general to her earlier books. Like they all, well, maybe Funny Story is a bit kind of lighter hearted, but Happy Place and Great Big Beautiful Life, like they definitely have some deeper messages in them, and they definitely explore some kind of harder topics rather than just a fun little romance. So yeah, I'd be interested to reread. I feel like every episode I'm like, I need to reread this.
I need to reread everything. I need to read so many more books, like new books.
I know, it's so overwhelming.
I think, because I think I've said this before, in a lot of like contemporary romances, I don't love when the female protagonist is the happy to what am I, what are the terms? The sunshine to the grumpy?
Oh, grumpy, yeah.
Yeah. And I think from what I remember, we had a sunshine female protagonist in this one.
Yeah.
To not like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say he was like that grumpy, but like compared to her, he was grumpy. Was he?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
she
remember.
was very like, I think she was very bubbly, sunshiny
Yeah.
vibe. Like she had a very bubbly personality in general.
Yeah. So she
Let's say
annoyed
more than
me.
the average person.
Yeah, she was highly annoying to me because of that reason, and this is fully a personal preference thing, and maybe I've gotten over it at this point in my reading journey, but especially at this point in my life, I like really disliked sunshiny female protagonists in contemporary romances, like very specific.
Yeah.
So I think that bothered me quite a bit in this one.
That's so funny. Because I feel like a lot of Emily Henry's characters do have that kind of bubbly side to them, which, to be honest, I kind of appreciated because I'd been reading so many, let's say like Throne of Glass, like our characters are very misunderstood. They just don't really give a care about anyone else. Like they're very just, I don't really care if I upset you right now. I'm going to do what works for me. And I don't, they're nonchalant kind of vibes. So getting a very happily bubbly person in her books was kind of refreshing in a way for me, because I feel like I don't give the nonchalant, I don't care what anyone else thinks about me. I am very much a people pleaser. I'm going to make everyone happy around me, and if everyone else is sad, like I'm going to go out of my way to make you happy, even if it makes me miserable because I'm a little child. So I was like, I don't know. I liked seeing a little bit of myself in characters, because that doesn't usually happen in fantasy books, because I could not be in a fantasy book.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the weird thing is, like, I'm a people pleaser too, but I just don't like reading about it. Like, I just don't.
Maybe like that Jamie those few years ago was like, this is too similar to me. I can't deal with this.
Maybe, but like, I don't know. I feel like I like happy sunshine people who are more introverted, maybe, because that's kind of like what I am. But like when I see a sunshiny that's like so extrovert, not in real life. Let me just clarify that. I love an extroverted sunshiny person, like in real life as a person, as a real human being, but I'm talking about book characters.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It's a reading experience. Yeah. It just doesn't like vibe with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's just no explanation for it. Sometimes we just like what we like, and like it's just a preference.
Yeah, it's so true. I'll be very interested to see her on screen and see if you still are annoyed with her, like as a character. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting
I
after
think I
such a long
don't
time.
mind it. I don't mind it as much on screen. I think there's a lot of
Yeah,
things that I tolerate more on screen versus a book. Maybe because
yeah,
reading a book requires more energy. Like if
and
I'm watching
yeah,
something, like it's more casual, so like little things don't bug me as much. But if I'm like gonna put so much brain power into something and read something, I prefer to like more elements of it.
I guess it's like 2 hours of your life compared to like 4 or 5 hours of your life, you know, and that's
Yeah.
spread over a longer time. You have to spend a lot more time with those characters than you do watching a movie.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm gonna be a little bit sad watching it in the middle of the winter, which like was
I
in which is great for
I'm
you, but
shocked.
like for my
I
side of the world, it's a very odd time of the year to release a movie
I
like
am
this.
like fully shocked that it is coming out in our summer. That never happens. I always have to
Yeah.
watch chick flicks in the middle of winter, being so depressed and waiting for summer. So when that release date was announced, I was like, "Are you serious? I can relate to this.
Yeah.
This is crazy."
Yeah, maybe it'll help us bring like from our North American side of the world, maybe it'll help us bring us out of our like winter funk, but yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Our next book. I am very interested to hear your opinion on this. We did talk about this very briefly earlier. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Please tell me your thoughts on this because I feel like I am very much the minority when it comes to this book.
Yeah, I think I read this book before the hype, I think,
Okay.
because I got it in a book of the month. Will we ever have a podcast episode where I don't mention book of the month? It's just
Can Book
like
of the Month sponsor a podcast episode?
it's just such a formative part of my entire reading experience. I can't talk about books without talking about book of the month. But I did get The God of the Woods from book of the month, and like a lot of the
Yeah.
time when you get it from book of the month, sometimes you'll get like an early release or like you'll just get it before a lot of other people get it for
Yeah.
whatever reason. So I got this. I read it like pretty much right when I got it. Like it didn't linger on my TBR cart for too long. So I didn't know that this book had hype. Like I just picked
Yeah.
it up because it sounded interesting on book of the month. Um, and I think it was okay. I think it was all right. And I was actually surprised at how much hype it ended up getting, like, after I read it. Actually, I think I was reading this book on the subway, like, going somewhere, and someone randomly came up to me and said, "Hey, that book you're reading, that's a really great book." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And like that is a big moment because like if you know Toronto, like you don't talk to people. It's kind of like New York, like when you're
Really?
walking around on the street, like you just like eyes forward, eyes on the target. You just don't talk to the people around you. Like you don't talk to the person who's sitting beside you on the subway. Like you don't. You put your headphones in. You keep to
Yeah.
yourself. So for someone to like break out of that bubble and like actually talk to me to like tell me that this was a good book, I was like, okay, now I have some expectations. Um, but I think it was well written. I think it was an interesting
Yeah.
story, but I think it was just very slow paced. And I was a little bit bored while reading it. And I think the twist at the end was a little cheap.
Yeah. Okay, I'm very glad to hear you say that. Because I was very ready for you to like love that book and me have to be like, I didn't like it. But no, so I read it after the hype had really, really built it up. But also, I feel like it was marketed, like, or at least the hype kind of marketed it as a very different book to what it was. Because
Yeah.
I would not say this is like a crime book personally. This is like a historical fiction with a mystery
Yeah.
element to it.
Yeah.
And I read it on Kindle. I did not know it was like 500 pages. I was expecting
Yeah,
like a
it's
300
long.
page book and then it just kept going and going and going and I was like, "Oh my God." But yeah, it fell really flat for me because I think I was expecting a historical crime. Like I was expecting some really great mystery, whereas I feel like this very
Mm-hmm.
much focused on our characters and delving into them and like their morals or their mysteries of the past or whatever. Like it was a great setting and I did enjoy the writing, but the actual plot I felt like was so, so slow moving. again, probably just went in with the wrong expectations. But I remember getting really, really bored and like pushing myself to finish it to find out the twist. And then, yeah, same. The twist kind of was just like, oh, okay. But my
Yeah.
thoughts are, if you went into that with expecting it to be a historical fiction, would you have like an entirely different perception of it? Because you're not expecting like a massive plot twist like I was.
Yeah, probably. I would say probably because I was waiting for like the mystery thriller of it. I was like, where's
Yeah.
the mystery thriller? And I read it in the middle of the summer and I wasn't at that point I wasn't really in the mood for like a slower book. Like I wanted
Yeah.
something like kind of spooky, kind of thrillery, but also like set in the summer. And I was like, "Oh, this sounds like an interesting one to read in the summer because it's
Yeah.
like based like in
Yeah.
a summer camp." Yeah, and it just didn't deliver on what it promised. I think this genre in general is interesting because I think like
Yeah.
recently I read Mad Woman by Chelsea Beaker, and I think that one also kind of suffered a similar thing where it's like marketed as this very suspenseful thriller, maybe not thriller, but at least like a suspenseful mystery story.
Yeah.
And like I didn't feel the suspense. Like it was not suspenseful for me, but there was a lot of interesting character work done. So
Okay.
it's, just kind of like tempering your expectations on like what this book will actually give you.
Yeah, I feel like this whole genre needs to be marketed in a very specific way to live up. I don't know. It's a hard one. I've always felt so alone in my opinion on this. So I'm glad you have the same because everyone I knew loved this book and I was like, why did I find it so boring?
Well, we're here together. If it's just me and
Yeah.
you, at least we've got each other.
Honestly, great like segue into the next book because speaking of boring, I also found this series very boring, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Again, purely I think the hype marketed this wrong to me because I was told that this is like Knives Out. I love Knives Out, love that movie. I went in and I swear everything happened within the first like 100 pages and then nothing happened. And then again, the ending, I was kind of like, that's it. And then I read the second book and I was like, I am not continuing this series. In saying that, I do like other books that Jennifer Lynn Barnes has written. So it's not really against her as an author because I think, what is that series called that I
The
just read?
Naturals?
The Naturals, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really fun YA series, but this one just didn't hit me. But again, other people absolutely obsessed with this. So maybe if you went in with like little different expectations or you just picked it up one day, you could have a really good time. I think I remember you talking about this series when you were finishing it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, this one's actually a little bit relevant for me right now because I've been posting like short form content of like best reads of the year, worst reads of the year, and the Final Gambit is the third book in the series, and it was in my bottom 10 of the year.
Yeah.
And my like short on YouTube started like, when it just starts popping out to like people who are not in your normal circles. I've been getting a lot of comments on that short being like, the Final Gambit, how dare you put that in the bottom? So,
Really?
yeah, I know there are a lot of hardcore fans for the series. And like, if you love the
Yeah.
series, I absolutely love that for you. I love that you had a wonderful, fun experience reading these. For me, I actually enjoyed the Inheritance Games. It wasn't like my favorite read in the world, but I had a lot of fun reading it. Like it was a
Yeah.
good like in between intense books kind of a book to pick up. It was very fast paced. I read it very quickly. The word count I think is very low on these. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you just flip through it. The font is huge. Like it's just very easy
Yeah.
to read, and I found like the puzzles and the riddles to be fun. Like I love solving things. Like I love a good riddle. So I was having fun reading it. When I picked up the second book, I expected more of the same, but for me it was too much of the same. Like we were just kind of
Yeah.
recreating these scenarios to do the same things again and again and again. But I was like, maybe it's a case of second book syndrome. I'm going to continue with the third. And when I read the third, it was the same thing again. So I ended up being so bored by the end of it. And it was just due to the repetition. I think the idea is still really fun. I think like the solving riddles and mysteries and like all the inheritance
Yeah.
games of it all, like that is so fun. But it just got so repetitive. And I think it just dragged on for no reason. I think, like, I mean, is this kind of a spoiler? I feel like it's maybe, not really. I don't know. But a big part of it is that our main character can't leave this estate, right? Like, for
Yeah.
one reason or the other, she's stuck there. And I think because of that, it added to my boredom. Like, I would have loved to see her be able to, like, go out to another estate, like, go somewhere else, and maybe, like, we could solve different riddles in another location. But I think just, like, us being, like, locked in this, like, one house for multiple books was too much for me, like, too much repetition. So I ended up being bored. I actually do own more books in the series, and I do own some of the spin-off books. Again, because Book Outlet it got me again. And I ended up not reading, like, I took them off my TBR. I'm like, I don't want to continue reading them.
I'm so interested in the fact that, like, you got so many comments disagreeing with you, because I feel like what I've seen about the ending of that series is it was a letdown for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people weren't happy with how it concluded, and it kind of fell flat for it. Like, not saying that they hated it, but just it didn't live up to the rest of the series for them. So that's so interesting that some people really, really enjoyed it. Like, it's great that they did, but I feel like I just haven't seen that side.
I think it's really divisive. It's like just depending on what corner of the internet you're on. Like, people either love it or really dislike it.
As with everything.
As with everything. Strong feelings all across the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, I don't know if this hits your algorithms, but this one hits my algorithms a lot. But The Secret History by Donna Tartt. What is your experience with this one?
I haven't read it. I've seen so many people recommend it, but again, it's never really, like, intrigued me enough to pick it up, and it is quite a long book. I remember when again, we talked about this last week. I feel like
we read long books
idea
now.
of a long book has really been skewed. But when I kept seeing this at the store, and when I feel like it was in its prime hype, I was like, oh, that's such a long book for is it a historical fiction?
It's a dark academia. It's a bit historical,
academia. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't entered my dark academia obsession phase yet. I've read a few, but I haven't read one that's, like, hooked me on that genre. I have heard incredible things about it, though. Have you read it?
I did read this one.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. I didn't love this one. I think there were a lot of parts to this book that I did like. Like, I liked the setup of it. I liked the story in general, but I didn't like the structure of the book. I think, like, the amount of time we spent on each phase of the book was, like, skewed in a way that didn't work for me. Like, parts that I wanted to spend more time in were too quick, and then parts that I was like, let's pass over this quick, were, like, so long. Long. I think the first, like, third of this book maybe was the good part for me. And then I think it was, like, it was odd because I think by the halfway point of the book, that's when I would have finished the book. Like, that felt like the ending of the book to me. And then there was a whole other half to it that just felt like a really long epilogue. And you know me, I don't like epilogues. Like,
you don't like an epilogue.
I don't like an epilogue, and this second half was just, like, a really long epilogue, so it was weird for me. I think, the idea of it was interesting. I do love the idea of a dark academia where we have, like, these really toxic, like, flawed characters that are in part of a really small class cohort, so it's, like, kind of forced proximity with each other, and they get really tight, but in, like, good and bad ways, and they just, like, they're really obsessed with what they're studying, so, like, they get really intense about things, and then, like, these horrible things happen because of how, like, deeply entrenched they are, like, in each other. I love the idea of that, but I will say I read If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which is a very similar concept, but The Secret History, they were learning, like, or they were studying ancient Greek, I think, and then in If We Were Villains, they were studying Shakespeare, and I just like the Shakespeare side of it more than, like, ancient Greek as a language, so I think because of that, and also because I think If We Were Villains was just structured tighter, I liked If
Yep.
We Were Villains much better than The Secret History, but they're both very similar stories. Like the premise is like almost identical.
I have heard that, and again, I haven't read If We Were Villains for that reason. Mainly because I don't like Shakespeare. I'm so sorry. I had to study so many of his texts and plays in high school, and I just did not like any of them.
Yeah.
But so for that reason, I haven't read If We Were Villains because I've been
Yeah.
like, I really think that element would take me out of it. But then I have heard people say that they don't love Shakespeare and they read it and absolutely loved it. So I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't love Shakespeare, but I just feel like I know more about it, and because I
Yeah.
know more about it, I just had more of a base in going into the
Yeah,
book and
yep.
like kind of could know what was going on more because I know nothing about ancient Greek. Like I don't know like linguistics, languages, I am terrible at. Like I
Yeah.
don't know anything about that. But I think like overall just yeah, it
Very
was
confusing.
like If We Were Villains was a tighter book. And like I don't love Shakespeare, but I love like the vibe of Shakespeare. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
love the vibe of like a dark academia Shakespeare book, you know? Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like just the Shakespeare content, but like just like the setting that
This,
gives.
yeah, the atmosphere. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, and on top
Because,
of that,
yeah.
like because we have Shakespeare, there's also like a theater element too, and like the theater side of me could relate to that part of it, but it was like a dark theater, you know? It was kind of like Black Swan for ballet. It was
Yeah,
like this was for like the theater side.
that's
I
kind of
don't know.
cool.
Yeah. It was
That
fun.
is
A good
kind of
one to
fun.
read in like the fall. Like I probably wouldn't read it in the
Yeah,
summer, but like a fall colder weather read.
yeah. But yeah, very interesting. These were like dug up some old memories as well. These are some books that we hadn't like talked about before.
Yeah, they're kind of like throwbacks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you are still here listening to the end, thank you for listening wherever you are in the world or whatever time zone you're in.
Until next time, stay comfy and keep reading.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on socials for more bookish content.
Bye.